Hey there, welcome to my channel. Today, I'm taking you on a journey through the fascinating story of Limeware, an innovative tech company that once wanted to change the smart home landscape, but ultimately went under. Stay tuned for an exciting story full of dreams, success, and setbacks. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more stories like this. At the beginning of the new millennium, the world is changing rapidly. Internet connections are getting faster, computers are becoming more affordable, and young people are increasingly turning to computers to satisfy their music and film needs. CDs are expensive, MP3 players are becoming popular, and the call for free access to digital content is growing. Amidst this revolution, LimeWire emerges, a free peer-to-peer file sharing program that quickly attracts millions of users. Behind LimeWire is Mark Gorton, an American entrepreneur with an impressive profile. He studied electrical engineering at Yale, earned a master's degree at Stanford, and worked for years on Wall Street as a financial trader. But his interest shifted from financial markets to technology and open information. In May 2000, he founded Lime Group LLC and launched the first version of LimeWire, based on the new Nutella network, an open-source, decentralized P2P protocol developed by two Napster employees. Napster had just introduced the world to P2P file sharing, but still used central servers. LimeWire, on the other hand, used a completely decentralized infrastructure, which meant it was not dependent on a single central point. This made it more difficult to trace and more difficult to stop. Gorton strongly believed in free access to information. His goal was not to promote piracy, but to create an open platform where people could share digital files without the intervention of companies or censorship. LimeWire used the Nutella protocol, whereby users acted as nodes in a network. When someone typed in a search query, e.g. Linkin Park in the end, the software sent the request to multiple connected peers. If someone had the files, you could download them directly from that computer. What made LimeWire unique? User-friendly interface. Anyone could understand it. Smart search filters. You could search by file format, size, artist, etc. Support for all kinds of file types. MP3, AVI, JPG, ZIP, DOC, etc. Free and open source, with a paid pro version that worked faster. Ironically, that was also shared illegally. Platform independent, it ran on Windows, macOS, and Linux. LimeWire quickly became the go-to place for free music. In 2003, a 14-year-old schoolboy could download the complete discography of his favorite artist with a single search, within a few minutes, without paying. In many households, LimeWire became a digital treasure trove of music, films, and games. Between 2002 and 2006, LimeWire enjoyed its heyday. Its popularity exploded. The program was downloaded more than 200 million times worldwide. In some countries, up to 40% of young people had LimeWire on their computers. For many people, LimeWire was a digital cultural phenomenon. Students shared music lists on LimeWire, just as people used to give each other mixtapes. Children and young people discovered games, films, and even software via the platform. Artists noticed that their music appeared online before it was officially released. And although LimeWire was intended as a legal file-sharing platform, you could also use it to share free open-source software or homemade music. 98% of its use was for sharing copyrighted material. The program worked so well that with a few clicks you could download entire albums, pirated films, and even versions of Microsoft Office. However, it was not without risk. Many files turned out to contain malware or viruses. There were no central controls, and some users accidentally released entire folders of personal documents. LimeWire therefore became notorious as a source of digital chaos, a kind of anarchic Wild West of the internet. The music industry, led by the RIAA, Recording Industry Association of America, panicked. Traditional CD sales plummeted. Napster had already been shut down by the courts in 2001, but LimeWire, with its decentralized structure, was much more difficult to tackle legally. Nevertheless, the RIAA took action in 2006. They took Mark Gorton and Lime Group LLC to court for intentional copyright infringement, encouraging piracy, financial damage to artists, labels, and producers. The lawsuit was difficult, complex, and lengthy. LimeWire defended itself fiercely. Their argument: they only provided the software. What users did with it was their responsibility. However, the court ruled that LimeWire had deliberately taken insufficient measures to prevent illegal downloads. They pointed to internal emails in which LimeWire employees discussed the popularity of illegal downloads. In May 2010, the verdict was handed down. LimeWire was convicted of knowingly facilitating massive copyright infringement. The judge forced the company to cease all distribution immediately. On 26th of October 2010, LimeWire disappeared from the internet for good. Anyone who tried to open the program received a pop-up message. This is an official court-ordered notice. LimeWire is under a court-ordered injunction to cease distributing and supporting its file-sharing software. After the verdict, a new battle ensued: money. The music industry demanded billions in damages. The RIAA claimed that LimeWire had caused more than $10 billion in damages. In May 2011, both parties reached a settlement. LimeWire paid $105 million to the RIAA to avoid further legal action. This amount was substantial, but much less than the claim. Nevertheless, it was a symbolic victory for the music industry, which showed that even decentralized platforms were not immune. Mark Gorton lost not only money, but also his reputation in the tech world. He largely withdrew from the software industry. LimeWire changed the internet forever. It was a pioneer in the field of decentralized networks, peer-to-peer communication, digital distribution without intermediaries. At the same time, LimeWire showed how vulnerable the creative industry was to technological disruption. Many artists despised LimeWire, but some also acknowledged that it had made them famous. Think of artists like Soulja Boy, who became big through online distribution. LimeWire forced the music industry to embrace new models, such as iTunes, 2003, Spotify, 2008, YouTube Music, streaming services in general. Without LimeWire, the shift to streaming might have taken years longer. In 2022, the name LimeWire suddenly reappeared, this time as an NFT marketplace for digital music and art. Two Austrian brothers, Paul and Julian Zeitmeyer, bought the brand name and tried to revive the platform. Although it had nothing to do with the original LimeWire or Mark Gorton, they did use the logo, name, and nostalgic image. It was presented as a modern, rebellious marketplace in the crypto world. However, the comeback was met with a lot of criticism. Older users found it disrespectful. The NFT market itself collapsed, and in 2023, this new LimeWire project also disappeared from public view. Did you use LimeWire back in the day? Leave a comment below and tell us what your first download was. That was the story of Limeware, a company that started big, but unfortunately lost the battle with the tech giants. What do you think of this story? Let me know in the comments. Would you like to see more in-depth stories about companies and technology? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.